Peace and blessings, my melanated God's people. Man, I was just watching a clip of something. I haven't seen the whole interview. I plan on finding it. But man, I did a video on Deion Sanders and how people are unfairly treating him, and the standard is different and everything. But, you know, even 60 Minutes got in on the act now. You know, what little bit I did see, I will discuss with you. And I'll probably come back on here and do another one once I watch the whole video, the whole interview. But there were several things that were really disturbing me. You know, this guy's going to sit down with Deion Sanders and pretty much just try to chew him up. But he had the right one. Because, you know, Deion ain't never backed down or backed up. He's going to accuse him of leaving Jackson prematurely. Number one, they were stealing from the man. He said that all ticket sales were not being reported. The stadium's full and they're only reporting so many ticket sales. You know, either somebody's lying and stealing or somebody letting a whole bunch of people in for free. Either way, that's affecting his pocket. Okay? And he was there 2 years, turned them into winners. I think they got 2 championships out of the deal. Now it was time for him to do what's best for him and his family and move on and do something else. That's not premature. He had completed that task. That task was done. And now he's out in Colorado working on something else. But my point is, once again, and I use this not because I downgrade Peyton Manning, but I use him as an example because he was a person that I really thought had a high football IQ and really did well. And I was a Peyton Manning fan and a Colts fan and all of that. So that's why I use him. But if Peyton Manning had went to a JUCO, coached and been very, very successful, left and got him 2 championships, left in 2 years, and 60 Minutes wanted to interview him, they would not say he left prematurely. There's a different standard for confident black men, for black men who know their value and know their worth. That's always been Deion's problem, is that he's known his value. That's why the media has always downplayed him and called him bad teammate. Now, and nobody's ever played with him. I heard say that he was a bad teammate, and he was bad in the locker room. I haven't heard that. I watch a lot of these interviews where where these older players talk about playing with someone and nobody ever says that about Deion. But that's what the press portrayed him as back then. I remember it because I was a football fan back then, and I watched a lot of football back then, and I watched a lot of interviews, and I watched ESPN, and I know what they said about him. Man, they even had me thinking at one time that maybe this guy isn't the best person for a team. He's really, really good, a shutdown corner, but maybe he can do damage to a team, which all that was not true. And now they're doing the same thing with him as a coach. Another sore topic with me that came up was asking him about coming in and telling the players they need to jump in the portal if they're not going to do the work. And, you know, Deion responded that, you know, these players were hired by these coaches. And he didn't say it. He left it off. But what I'm saying is a lot of those players are going to be loyal to the old coaches that were fired. They're going to be mad about that, and they're just going to be staying there, and they're going to be a detriment to the program. A lot of them may not have the talent or the capability to step up to the level that Deion wants to take that program to. So he gave them a chance to go. I think it was fair that he told them in the first meeting, if you're not going to work hard, if you're not going to be championship level, if you're not going to achieve, you're not going to do what we tell you to do, then you need to go ahead and leave now. Because otherwise we're going to have to run you off, which is all fair. Because if he left and 50 people transferred, if he left that 50 there and they were still slowly winning, say that they didn't do too good last year, they won more games than usual, and this year they didn't get to 6, but they got to 5, everybody would be ragging on him. So that's not a realistic question to ask. Of course those people had to go. Of course they had to go. They needed to go. That's the way the real world works. But it kills me when these liberal Yahoo reporters get on talking about how talking about things that they don't know anything about. Now, I don't know anything about this guy, but I bet he never played pro ball. Probably never played college, probably never played JUCO. But yet and still, he gets to be qualified to ask these questions. To me, if 60 Minutes wanted to interview somebody, they should have got, Ryan Clark or somebody to do the interview for him, paid him a lot of money to do it. Somebody that knows football, but that's not what they wanted to do. The intention was not to have a fair interview, but to downplay a black man who's succeeding. Point blank in the story. But, as this progresses, I think this is something I'm going to keep up with and kind of follow Deion. And I had stopped watching football. I may start watching a few Colorado football games, just Colorado, and as the season goes on, so I can stay up to date and informed. But this is just ridiculous. We're worried about Kamala and damn Trump, and you got a black guy over here that's trying to uplift kids, trying to help them learn how to navigate the NIL, whatever they call it. How to manage their money, having people come in and speak with them, teaching them how to manage their money, how to not spend it all, how to not blow it all, how to not get in trouble. Somebody that's actually been through the process and knows everything and is trying to work with these kids. Somebody that's a father figure. Man, and 60 Minutes tries to downplay him. That's why I say all of these news outlets ain't worth a shit. None of them. Because all they're there to do is to taint the perception and to paint, not taint, but paint the perception that the powers that work want people to see. And they want to make Deion out to be a bad guy, but he is not giving them any fuel to do that. And they're suffering and they're hurting right now. And Deion, my brother, be careful, man, because they're going to be coming after you. Be careful. Cross every T, dot every I. They're coming after you. When you travel, have a staffer check your hotel room before you go in there. Room with one of the other coaches that you can trust, because they're coming after you and they're going to try to sit you up and they're going to try to create some kind of, but I know you know all this. You've been through this. You're better versed at this than me, but brother, I just had to say that because I can see it. I see them coming for you. All right, my melanated, be blessed. Touch feet to soil. Take in a little sunlight, a lot of sunlight, a little moonlight if you can. But most of all, man, love your melanated self. Be blessed.